Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about the Japanese Americans that fought in World War II, and I'm focusing mostly on the European theater. The 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team is where most of the Japanese Americans fought in the European theater in World War II. There was, though, a 522nd Field Artillery Battalion. Anyways, get back to the 100th Infantry Battalion. Most of them were largely from Hawaii, and many of them were in the Hawaii Territorial Guard before World War II. And then after Pearl Harbor, they helped transport the bodies of dead soldiers and dead sailors, and they secured a lot of beachheads, protected them from Japanese invasions. But shortly after all that, the U.S. government banned Japanese Americans from the military. But they reversed their decision to allow Japanese Americans to serve in segregated units. So the 100th Infantry Battalion went to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin to do basic training again. They had already done basic training. But as soon as they completed it, and they completed it very easily because they've done it before, but they went to Europe, and they were known as the Suicide Battalion because they were given some of the most dangerous missions, and they charged the enemy fire very ferociously and very bravely. And recently and then shortly after that, they were joined by other battalions of Japanese Americans. And these particular Japanese Americans trained at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, near Hattiesburg. And all those battalions became the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. One of the Japanese Americans that trained at Camp Shelby was a future senator for the state of Hawaii. He was a senator for a long time until he passed away a few years ago, Senator Daniel Inouye. And he won the Congressional Medal of Honor for his bravery during World War II. Okay, the greatest accomplishment that the 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team did was they rescued a lost battalion from the Texas National Guard. The Texas National Guard was trapped behind enemy lines, and the 100th Infantry Battalion broke through the enemy lines, and they saved all 275 men. Now, the 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team, they suffered over 800 casualties in that engagement alone. And the 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team won 21 Medals of Honor during World War II, 21 Congressional Medals of Honor, 5,000 Purple Hearts, 4,000 Bronze Stars. They won the Distinguished Presidential Unit Citation 8 times. And that is an amazing accomplishment. 2/3 of the soldiers came from Hawaii. 1/3 came from the concentration camps or the Japanese internment camps in the mainland. And sometimes in Camp Shelby, there were feuds between the ones from Hawaii and the ones from the mainland. The ones from Hawaii were a little louder, a little more boisterous, and kind of spoke their minds. So the people from the mainland called them Buddha heads. But keep in mind, when they got to Camp Shelby, the ones from Hawaii, that was the first time they experienced prejudice or racism. They didn't know, when they were in Hawaii, by and large, they didn't know what that was until some of them got banned from serving in the military. But that decision was quickly reversed, and the Japanese Americans were allowed to serve in segregated units. But the ones from the mainland said the prejudice you guys are getting at Camp Shelby is nothing compared to what we're getting at the West Coast. What's going on in Mississippi with us is light compared to what we're getting in the West Coast and where the concentration camps are. So the ones from the mainland were kind of just more quiet about it, let it roll off their shoulders, and just did their duty and didn't let it bother them. And the ones from Hawaii were confused about that, and so they called the people from the mainland katonks, which is a coconut that if you knock on it, it doesn't make a sound. It's a useless, not a useless coconut, I should say, but it's a coconut that doesn't make a sound, so they were called katonks. But when they got to Europe, it didn't matter. The ones from Hawaii and the ones from the mainland fought alongside each other, and then they considered each other brothers in arms. So when they started joining each other in combat, those differences were put aside, and both of them fought bravely. Ones from the mainland, like George Sakato and Joe Nishimoto, won the Congressional Medal of Honor, but the ones from Hawaii, like Barney Hajiro and Daniel Inouye, won the Congressional Medal of Honor as well. And so, God bless the Japanese Americans that fought in World War II. The artillery battery, the artillery battalion that I told you guys about, they liberated Dachau concentration camp in Europe. And Japanese Americans were some of the first to liberate the concentration camps in in Europe. And after the war, Harry Truman told the Japanese Americans, he said, you guys not only fought the enemy, but you fought prejudice and you won. And after all that, Daniel Inouye became a senator in the state of Hawaii. This other guy was a linguist. He wasn't in the European theater, but there were George Ariyoshi. He became governor of Hawaii for a while. So it was that people really respected these guys' service. And props to President Bill Clinton. There was only one Medal of Honor at the end of World War II. That was Sadao Miyamori, but racism was a problem in awarding them the highest medals, even though they won several other medals. And so Bill Clinton looked at it, and he decided to award many of these Japanese American soldiers a Congressional Medal of Honor. There were a lot of things Bill Clinton did that I disagree with, but I have to give him props on this because he did the right thing here, and he showed courage and commitment, and it should have been done. So I have to thank him for that. So anyways, hope I was doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.